Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do a video about living with a guy. Or I say living with a guy, just living with a partner. So if you like guys or girls, this is this is about you living with a partner from a female's perspective. So whether you like other girls or you like guys, this is just sort of how to handle living with your partner. So here we go. I have been living with my partner now for just over a year. One more than actually, about, let me see now, 15 months. Well, fingers up on maths was never my strong point. Yeah, so 15 months, and so I'm not an expert, but I've been living through the first year, and I feel like I have a couple of tips and tricks that I can share with you to let you have an inkling of what it's like living with someone if you're yet to do that. And if you have lived with someone and you're going through the first year difficulties that are like renowned, then this might be able to help you. Pre-living with your partner and then living with your partner, so it's things that you need to know. So first and foremost, they have to be realistic about what you can afford and how you're going to divvy up the bills. So you might want to do 50-50. You might think, yeah, I'm an independent person, blah, blah, blah. But if your budget is £600 a month in rent, and we live in London, and then you are looking at places that are costing upwards of £2,000 a month, then realistically you might want to let your partner know that actually you can't afford to live there. You might also as well think that what you can afford is what they can afford. You need to speak to each other about finances, because finances are one of the major things that can break up a relationship. So you need to know what you're doing and if you can afford to do it, and put your cards on the table and say, look, my budget is X, Y or Z, and your budget is X, Y or Z, and we need to compromise about where we can afford. So you might want, for £600 a month in London, a 3-bed semi-detached property in Hampstead. It's not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. So you need to be realistic about where you want to live, where you can afford to live, and commuting. Like if you're going to go to work, you need to make sure that someone's not doing excessive amounts of miles. So first and foremost, you need to talk about where you would like to live. Secondly, you need to actually think about perhaps setting up a joint account. Again, it's a conversation that you need to have about how you're going to split the bills. Are the bills going to be in one person's name and then you transfer money every month? Or are you going to put money into an account and you both put money into that account? Or is one person paying the bills because they earn more than the other person? You need to have a conversation. Money is, like I said, a big way to break up a relationship. So you need to think about how that's going to work. And then once you've found the ideal place, you've moved in, you might want to set some ground rules about chores, because again, chores can be a very big thing and cause arguments. So you might want to say, you know what, I, for example, do not like hoovering, so you know what, that could be your chore. I don't mind washing up, so I'll do the washing up. It doesn't mean that I never ever pick up the hoover and that my boyfriend never ever picks up the dishcloth and the fairy liquid, but it's about saying, okay, well, we'll divvy up the chores a little bit, because you might get resentful, and that's one thing that you do not want. You do not want to be resentful of your partner. You do not want your partner to be thinking that they're always doing all the chores and you're not pulling your weight. Or because they're paying more, and that's another thing as well, because they're paying more towards the upkeep of the property in money, that means that I then take on more of the chores. You need to make sure that when you divvy up things, you're divvying it up so that one person isn't going to end up resenting the other person, because that's not a way to live. Another thing that you need to think about when you move in with somebody and you're setting up camp, you obviously want to be comfortable. You need to think to yourself and be realistic about it. Like, your partner is going to be aware that you buy tampons or you buy sanitary towels, and no matter how far back you push them into the cupboard, they will stumble across them. So let's be realistic about things. These are products that we need to use, and you just need to get over it. And if you are embarrassed that I use these things, or I feel embarrassed that I use these things, I don't really know that I use these things, then maybe living together really isn't what you should be doing right now. Also, so going off from that, you need to be comfortable with your partner, but not too comfortable to the point where you're being a slob, because again, that can cause issues for your relationship. So one person is going to be more hygienic than the other. It might not be the woman being more hygienic than the man, it might be the man being more hygienic than the woman, but you will find that one person's level of mess tolerance is not the same as the other person's. You need to be considerate of that fact. Don't just leave dirty dishes in the sink because it's not your chore, or don't just leave bits of hair or like crisp packets on the floor because it's not your chore. Like, be considerate, like clear up after yourself. That's what you just need to do. It saves so many arguments. So many arguments. But there are fun times with living with a partner, definitely fun times, but you need to make sure you communicate. That is the biggest thing. You need to communicate. If your partner is annoying you because you think they're being a slob, or your partner's annoying you because you're not, the work isn't being divvied up properly, then you're going to have big issues, and you need to don't let those issues be big issues because they're small things. Don't sweat the small stuff, but you will sweat the small stuff if you don't communicate. So don't think that your partner knows you that well, that they know your thought processes. You need to communicate your thought process to your partner. So if you're saying to yourself, you know what, I feel like he's not pulling his weight washing up, tell him. If he thinks that you're not pulling your weight with hoovering the floor, you best tell her. Tell him that he needs to tell you. So tell her she needs to tell you, so that you don't start grating on each other, because one little thing becomes a big thing and becomes a big thing and becomes a big thing and becomes a big... No. Communicate. And like I said, be comfortable, but not too comfortable. Be comfortable. Do stuff together. Just because you live together doesn't mean that you still can't date. Make sure you have a date night regularly. I would say a certain amount of times a week or a month, but that depends on your relationship and what is comfortable to you. But you need to make sure that you date. Remember that to go out and do stuff, or to stay in the house and spend quality time together, whilst maintaining your own friendship circles. So just because you like to go to Pilates on a Tuesday, don't think, now I'm living with my partner, I can no longer go to Pilates. Go to Pilates, and he or she will find a hobby that they like, and they'll go to that too. And also, whilst you have separate hobbies, it's good to have hobbies that you guys do together. So if you want to exercise together, quite sexy actually, or you want to go to the movies together, or you want to learn how to, I don't know, do interior design to decorate your property, by all means do that stuff, but you need to communicate. That is the biggest thing. Communicate, don't sweat the small stuff. Make sure you talk about finances, because finances are a big issue, and that really are my little tips. There are going to be things that annoy you, like, oh, they've used your toothbrush, or they've left sweaty socks, or they haven't emptied the washing machine when you ask them, or they've left the fridge door open. There's going to be little things, but you can't sweat those little things, because they turn into big things otherwise, and they're really not worth the aggravation. Those are sort of things that you need to be considerate about when you're living with a partner, and also in order to make sure that your first year is as stress-free as possible, because no matter how much you think you know your partner, you do not know your partner until you've lived with your partner, until you've had to smell their number twos, until you've had to deal with them coming home maybe drunk, or being ill and having to care for them while they're sick. Like, those are things that you're going to learn. If you're at the stage where you jump out of bed, put on slap and jump back into the bed because you want him to think that this is how you wake up, probably not at the right stage of your relationship to be moving in together. But you see the rough, you see the smooth, and I feel like it's fantastic living with your partner. I really do enjoy it, but do expect there to be a few bumps, and the bumps will be minimized if you communicate and you talk about finances and you divvy up chores and you spend time dating and remembering to date, and also whilst dating, spending time with other people, so that you have a life outside of your house. Because a lot of people end up saying, oh, I'm staying in with my husband, I'm staying in with my boyfriend, and then they just become a hermit. And you need to have your own social circles as well as the social circle of your partner and your partner's friends. So those are my quick, I say quick, I don't know how long this video is running at the moment, but these are my tips for living together with someone the first year. All my social media links will be in the description box below. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr, all that jazz. And I will see you on the next video. See you later. See you later.